We have moved up and down this scale over the years, okay? And then, this weekend, I was doing some research on something else, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's not anarchy like this. It is anarchy like that. Have you ever heard of the Black Flag movement? Where's the symbol? Do I have the... Here's the symbol. Black flag. Okay? The black flag is supposed to represent the absence of a flag. It is a rejection of any form of representation or institutions representing people. It was commonly used by anarchists. Black flag movement started in the late 1800s. What else started in the late 1800s? Oh, communism. It has a history here in America. April 1919. Do your homework. Look this up. April 1919, here in America, through June of that same year, anarchists set off a series of bombings to fuel the Red Scare of 1919. They targeted politicians, other government officials. I think the first person may have even gotten his hands blown off was like the mayor of Seattle. Luckily, they marked 36 people as their victims. 30 booby-trap bombs were sent. They were all supposed to go off. Most of them didn't because they screwed up. It was like the guy in Times Square the other day that just couldn't make it happen. They failed because they were incompetent. But the day they were all supposed to go off, May Day, the Communist Revolutionary Day. Second note I want to make before I explain this whole theory, the second piece of history that you need to know. It's on Karl Marx. Have you ever asked yourself, look out, he's got a gun in his jacket, and he intends to kill about 10 to 20% of the people. Have you ever asked yourself, how is it that so many people still think that this guy's ideas will work? Every single time they've been implemented, not only have they failed, but they have failed to the tune of over 100 million deaths at the hands of tyrants with too much power. And 100 million dead, that is that's a gift to Karl Marx. The excuse that Marxists give is that, well, it hasn't been done right. It hasn't been done the right way yet. No, actually, if you know the writings of Karl Marx, what he says is it has to be done with the right conditions, the right way, in the right country. That country? A country like us. A massive capitalist state that implodes, goes into revolution, and then you can change everything. Here's exactly what Marx said. Ready? At certain stage of their development, that'd be a country like us, the material forces of production in society come into conflict with the existing relations of production. With the change of economic foundation, the entire immense superstructure is more or less rapidly transformed. In considering such transformations, the distinction should always be made the material transformation of the economic conditions of production, which can be determined with the precision of natural science, and the legal, political, religious, aesthetic, or philosophic, in short, the ideological forms in which men become conscious of this conflict and fight it out. You got it? Okay? They're talking about fundamental transformation, not just of the economy, but everything, religious everything. That's what a Marx believer believes. And the ideal country, the prize country, the one that will prove him right once and for all, is this one. Now, the most idyllic capitalist giant of a nation, it has to begin to collapse. And then they can point to capitalism and say, it's failed. It doesn't work. What did we just hear Andy Stern say? It should never be resurrected. Then they can implement their Marxist utopia here. That's what many of the people that are in and around this president and this White House are going for, like it or not. You know, what's amazing to me is I'm called an extremist by these black flag people. I'm an extremist. The Tea Parties are extremist, but not the people actually marching in black at the G20. Not people like Code Pink, no. Do you know Nancy Pelosi cried all about that dangerous rhetoric? But you didn't see her give a press conference, nor have you seen anyone on television actually show what is happening this week in Washington. She didn't cry when the progressives, the uber leftists, actually threw stuff at her this week. Have you seen the video, except on Fox? Have you seen Secret Service coming up to her and saying, they're throwing stuff, you've got to go? No, 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 no. They told us, don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. All we want is health care for people. That's it. We're Democrats just like you. We're fine. No, they're not. They're radicals. And they're beginning to take the mask off. Nancy Pelosi is in the firing line of these people. Remember when she said, oh, I've seen this kind of violence before? Yes! From the radical revolutionaries of the left. And it is happening again, Nancy. Have you noticed? The radicals are not happy. They're not happy. Why? If they were really just like you, except they just wanted a little bit more government, they got health care. All the government takeovers, in the increase in government power, it's all happening now. 70% of the economy when they finish with the financial regulation. Understand, this is the biggest transformation of our system ever in the history of our country, and it's still not enough. What? How much more? 70%? You got it. 80%? 90? How much? Politicians and revolutionaries. These politicians thought they could co-opt the revolutionaries. Until the end of the show, I'll explain it to them. Now they just want to come in and take it. You see, progressives want to take it in baby steps. You want the most clear-cut example of this? Go back to Nancy Pelosi. Listen to what they're saying to her. Here it is.
Obama, we supported you. Yeah. We supported the campaign of America. Now 21 states are begging for money to help us save the community.
Right, and I support that. I support that. And in this legislation, we included the Class Act, which takes us partway down the path. Partway down the path. I have not contended.
Listen to this.
I have not. I've heard
you see what's happening. Stop the video, please. You see what's happening. This woman is so upset she's with Code Pink. You've got to give us the money. We were told you'd give us the money. We backed you and Obama. Listen to her passion in her voice. Okay? Nancy Pelosi, like, we got it. And we took steps. We don't want steps. We want our money. Do you see? Progressives, revolutionaries. So what is the end? What are they shooting for? What is enough? Again, go back to Rosie O'Donnell.
Seize their assets today. Take over the country. I don't care. Issue an executive order. Say, BP, guess what? Call it socialism. Call it communism. Call it anything you want.
They know better than you. They can do that because you're just stupid. This company is just evil. They know better. Van Jones said he dropped the radical pose in favor of the radical ends. Well, what were the radical ends? This, a group called STORM. STORM stands for Standing Together to Organize a Revolutionary Movement. The group members included anarchists and communists. Their tactics, you ready for this one? You're going to love this. Revolutionaries need to be militant in their street actions as leaders in the fight for liberation. We should be role models of fearlessness before the state and the oppressor. To mobilize young people of color into militant direct action. This was written here in the United States, some people believe by Van Jones. Learning to not joke about government surveillance or violent criminal activity. Learning to be cautious in our use of home telephone and email communications. They are valuable tools for serious revolutionaries. Marches were militant and confrontational, regularly defying police commands and occasionally plunging through police lines and barricades. The stated goal for this group here in America, working towards getting the country to make a definite and collective shift towards communist policies. I'm making this available one more time. I did this last year, and I don't think America was ready to listen to who the president has met with and who the uber left has cleansed. Drop the radical pose for the radical ends. This is why I say the president is in danger. He has revolutionaries who don't mind blood, who believe the ends justify the means. It's going to be available at glennbeck.com. Read it, please. Okay, now you have an idea of what modern-day anarchy is, that it is anarchists to start revolution to push you into communism. I want to show you the rest of this chart when we come back, because it's important that you see what we're talking about. Back in a second.